This morning on my KPFT show, I felt compelled to talk to the voters that stayed home, the voters who voted third party for spite, the voters who voted for Trump. I'll call those the MAGA voters. Because you know what? No matter what the reason is for those votes, there's one thing that many have failed to realize. Many people say we have to stop this incremental supporting those who support incremental change. That is true. But when you're down to two choices, it does matter that you pick the best choice that you have. In fact, you pick the best of you pick the best of the worst if necessary. Because again, lives matter. It does matter. And your vote matters. And when it comes, you can be spiteful for certain things. But when it comes to reality, as we are starting to see right now, FAFO instantiated, FAFO instantiated, this is what I had to say this morning. I remember getting a call from I think it was a Palestinian young woman who gave me hell, and also a couple of folks in the chat who gave me hell because Kamala Harris did not buck Joe Biden on providing all these bombs that decimated Gaza and murdered in a genocidal manner all the Palestinian, or over 40,000 Palestinians in Gaza. Again, Kamala wasn't the president, and Kamala wasn't, there's a gravity within the presidency. Now, many of these people in Michigan and Wisconsin, our Palestinian brothers and sisters, were adamant that people in these places shouldn't vote for Kamala. They shouldn't vote third party, vote for Donald Trump. That's what many of them said. I've listened to many folks in Texas and other reliably red states say, this is the place where you make your stand. This is the place where, since we won't have a value in the outcome, we can show our disdain and vote third party. That's what many said. And then, of course, there are many in blue states, 19 million, that just said, we can't stomach what the Democrats are doing by allowing Biden to continue or help with the genocide in Gaza. So we're just going to stay home. We can't vote for Donald Trump, but we'll just stay home. Every single one of you who stayed home, every single one of you who said, I simply can't vote for Kamala because she was part of the administration that watched the genocide and provided the ammunition for the genocide. Every one of you who simply said, well, then we'll vote for Donald Trump. Every single one of you, I hope going forward that you've learned that every action has a consequence. I bring this up not only because of Trump's now musing about simply executing ethnic cleansing in Gaza by moving all the Gazians out and building beachfront property vis-a-vis the Riviera on the Mediterranean. Not only is he doing worse, there's a good likelihood when Kamala took control that Netanyahu would have gotten a different directive because she would not have been old school. She still would have had the Israel bias, but would not have been old schooled completely. But now we go further. That is international politics and the effects of having Donald Trump. But with local politics, you hear Republicans and Donald Trump talking about a mandate. Before the election, I specifically mentioned and try to get into people's psyche. Even if Donald Trump won the election and swept the states, he wouldn't have swept them if those people that voted, those 19 million showed up. He wouldn't have won any of them. He wouldn't have won them, but even if he had won the election by the electoral college, he still would have massively lost the popular vote. Even those people in red states who voted third party, a portion of what's occurring in That's what will occur with Medicaid, that Democrats will be unable to stop. A portion of what's going to happen to Medicare that Democrats will be unable to stop. A portion of USAID that will damage our security, our national security will be damaged by the destruction of the USAID. They would not have been able to look into the American eyes and say we have a mandate, because the mandate would not have been there. Yes, they would have won the Electoral College, but once again, he would have lost the national vote, the popular vote. Elections have consequences. Staying home has consequences. To vote in third party in a critical time has consequences that many will pay, not just with their security, not just with their health, but with their life. I saw a TikTok that, I kind of felt sort of bad about it, but they played back all our brothers and sisters of Palestinian descent in Michigan and Wisconsin saying, definitely do not vote for Kamala and don't vote third party. Vote for Trump. And people say, no, Trump actually believes in genocide. Trump is really a white nationalist. The Venezuelans that voted for him, thinking they're Venezuelan families that would be able to remain in the United States, got a wake-up call. He's ending the program and sending them back to Venezuela. Latinos who thought their approximation to the majority population would give them cover are learning that when that cop stops people, he doesn't first have probable cause whether they have their papers or not. He assumes by racial profiling. And guess what, brother Latinos who voted for Donald Trump? You fit the profile. You fit the profile. Your vote matters. And listening to sanity and critical thinking matters. And, we can keep making mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, but the degradation of the nation, the constancy of moving our wealth to the top, the constancy in having us been pilfered by the upper classes, by the billionaires. It's not the doings of the billionaires. It's our doing. It's who we decide to believe. It's who we decide based on evidence to follow. And we missed the bowl. We missed the boat. We missed the ball royally in this last election. And the thing about it is the same people who voted for Brother Trump, I'm not going to call Trump brother. The same people who voted for Trump are the ones who will feel the majority of the pain because it's coming. And Doge, remember, all they're trying to do right now is carve out monies. They got to get about $100 billion something this year alone to carve out money for a tax cut. Now, let me say a bit more. There are times that we have to put away our emotions. There are times that we have to put away what we feel and not just think about ourselves that, well, if Trump take over anyway, it doesn't all that much affect me. But you know what? It affects a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to feel the pain. Yesterday, I did the program on Medicaid cuts and who it actually affects. More so than anyone else, it affects MAGA. But then it affects a lot of folks otherwise that are disabled, otherwise that have injury. I mean, it is just something that would not have happened under a Harris administration. And for spite, because Harris didn't respond the way many hoped she would, and for having had the you-know-what card, while some would still vote for Donald Trump with all the massive flaws that he had, they refuse because Kamala just didn't walk in step perfectly with what they wanted. And now we're paying the price for that. And as he dismantles an effective government, Yes, he won't be here forever, but he's going to put us back so far. It's very easy to tear things down, but building it back up after his history will take a lot. And while folks don't like to talk about, they try to make it seem like it's the leader's fault. It is Kamala's fault that she didn't earn the vote. No, it is our fault that we didn't pick what's best for us. We can blame the politicians as much as we want. But the reality, it is our choice. And those guys are only there because we chose them. It's time for us to take responsibility and start choosing what's in our best interest and stop being hoodwinked by those who don't have our interest at hand.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.